while the countdown was going on. So I like to do that. So, hey everyone, we have 13 seconds, 12, and the countdown continues. Very excited tonight. Sorry about that.
That was perfect. Welcome everyone. First live stream for Totally Taylor Retro Hunters here. And when I thought about who do I want for my first guest ever, well, you two blokes just popped straight into my mind.
I'm honored, definitely honored. Thank you.
You're too kind, mate. Happy to be here. Excited. Thanks for having us. Excited to be here, chatting with you guys.
No, I have to say it's a bit nerve-wracking, but Scotty, thank you for your help. Had you as a bit of a wingman for a setup for this, and Dino is a super special guest. Thank you. I know it's late Saturday night for you. Well, not too late, but it's still
6:30. 6:30 p.m. So that's not too fine on a Saturday. My wife's still working. She'll be home in about an hour, so I can still play.
Yeah, nice. Can't we all? My wife just took the little fella out, so he's not yelling and screaming in the background. But yeah, how are we all? How you going, Scott?
Doing good, man. Just in the midst of our weekend, like I mentioned, I had a few things on. Not too much going on in the way of the kind of hobby this weekend for me. Just social stuff, and I'm trying to find some time to edit a toy hunting video that I'm working on at the moment. But yeah, just having a nice weekend. It's getting chilly here in Sydney, so sort of hunkered inside and excited to be talking toys with you blokes for the next hour or so.
Yeah, nice. And like you said, it's getting chilly for us. But Dino, you're starting to warm up over there in the States.
So when it gets chilly, do you guys have like a wood stove or fireplace?
Not for me, no. It's mostly just the inverter air conditioning unit that we use.
Is it common to have like a wood stove or a fireplace in Australia? It's probably a stupid question, but I would have no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that do. I guess it just depends. A lot of people in the mountains in the country and that, they have a lot of that, the wood fires and that. But in the more residential build-up areas, it's just the electric heaters keeping us warm.
Yeah, so we have a wood stove in our living room, and I tell you, in the wintertime, there's nothing better than a nice wood stove going.
Yeah, dude, yeah. I love when, let's say go for a weekend away to the mountains or like to the kind of wine country, to stay in like an older home with a fireplace. It's just such a nice experience. But I think like if I had one, it would probably see use like maybe 2 days a year. You know what I mean? It would get cold enough to really enjoy it. So we for good and bad, we don't get enough of the climate that would call for it. But it would definitely be a nice experience, I bet, having that when it gets really cold.
In the wintertime, we definitely use it for our main heat source.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
I'd just be making s'mores with it all the time.
Yeah.
So just wanted to hang out with you boys, talk toys, talk fun, talk what we're doing. I'll just start by saying hi to everyone. So
Matt and Andrew.
How are you, buddy? Good morning. Thank you, everyone.
Great guys.
Tuning in and waking up so early. It's only
so Andrew's the only person I know that has two the Eagles, right? Is it the Space 1999? The Eagle, right?
Yeah. Both Matt and Andrew have one. I didn't know Andrew had two, but
Andrew has two.
Those guys love a bit of Space 1999.
That is my grail item to have, a Space 1999. I would love to have it, and they're expensive. Not even incomplete. They're expensive. So
it's a cool playset. I suppose it's a playset and vehicle in one. But it's
so I never had it as a kid, but one of my best friends, he had it, and I remember it was beat up. It was I have like a memory. Sometimes you look at a toy and it can bring you right to a specific time or place.
Yeah.
And I remember it was just like in a dirt pile in his yard. And it was incomplete, but it like didn't have the seats or anything. But I remember the Space 1999. vehicle there. And that alone, that one day, just is in my memory that is my grail item. And again, I never really played with the toy, but that one memory, I need that toy in my collection.
It's
Do you
so
have a
funny. It's so funny how you can like have those sorts of, because I've got them as well, Dino, like nostalgic memories for toys that I didn't have, but there might have only been one instance where I was with a cousin or with a friend, and it was just such a, just that one instance of playing together, and it leaves an impression. It's like one of these days back to my collection.
So you said that Eagle's expensive, but is it hard to find for you over there?
It is hard. I've never seen it. Besides seeing it as a kid, I've never seen it at like a toy show or at a shop or anything like that. No.
Wow, that rare. So we got Jewel. Hello, Jewel.
Hey, Joel.
Thank you for joining in, Jewel.
Good to see you.
Who else is here? Nate.
Hey,
Good morning, Nate. And this is my wife.
Hey.
My little fella.
Hey, Sarah.
Little
Sarah,
Linky.
good to see you.
They're out on the town, probably having cappuccinos and baby.
I wasn't sure if Sarah was going to be here because you guys share the channel, right?
Yeah, we do, but she likes to do a lot of the background stuff. So
that's good. That's
she's
helpful.
awesome when it comes to that. Zazel, thanks, buddy.
Hey,
Hey, Zazel.
Thank you for joining in. Who else? Oh, Phil's here. Hello, Phil.
Hey,
G'day, Phil.
Phil should be ramping up for our Star Wars celebration in Japan. Come on, Phil.
I love watching Phil's videos with him and his daughter. It's so it's so cute.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch.
Definitely.
Carl, good morning, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
So this CCM for you, Dino. That's the Central Coast Mariners. So that's our top flight soccer team in Australia.
Oh, nice.
They just pretty much won every trophy you could possibly win in the season, including you have to tell me, Carl, did they win the Asian Championship as well?
They did.
They did, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they not only Australia, they conquered Asia.
Yeah, they're crushing it.
Not to brag or anything, but not to brag or anything, but I actually did a bodybuilding show where I won all the trophies at that show.
Oh wow!
Not bragging.
Clean sweep.
I can
Clean
do
sweep.
There it is.
That was back in 2015 when I re-entered the ring of bodybuilding, and I won all first place trophies in every event I did.
That's crazy. So were you competing with like blokes in their 20s and stuff, or was it like a master?
Yeah.
So I was actually how to do it.
I did the novice class. I did, which means if you've never competed, you can enter that. I did that. I did the all ages, which is like the men's medium. So I competed in that. Then I did the masters, and also best posing, and I won them all.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Are they the trophies that are in your collection? I saw like
I won Thor's hammer a couple of times for my pro competitions. So I because I won, and I'm not bragging or anything, just because you saw somebody, and I figured maybe people might be interested in it. But
yeah.
So I actually because they were giving away a Thor hammer, and I'm such a geek, and I'm like, I got to enter this. So when I entered, that was pro competition. So I won the pro hammer, and then I defended my title the following year, and I won it again. So I got another Thor hammer.
That's awesome.
Wow. Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
That's
and I actually met one of the American gladiators at one of the shows. And but he was I'm not sure if he was like in the original third season or whatever, but Mike O'Hearn. He was
what was his
in the reboot. When they did the reboot, he was definitely in that, but I think he was in like the later series also. But I knew he had been an American Gladiator, and I'm such a geek, so I actually brought the Joust playset.
Oh, nice.
To the show and had him sign it.
Oh, that is awesome.
Dino, you're talking to a couple of big time Gladiators fans right now. Like In fact, Dean and I are both working on Gladiators videos at the minute that are going to be coming out shortly. But see, we had our own version. We had Australian Gladiators. So,
really?
like, aside from YouTube, I didn't really, as a kid, we weren't able to watch the American Gladiators series.
So the toys you collect, is it the American toys or
no,
did they have different toys?
I'm glad you asked. Here's an example right here. This is one of the Australian Gladiators figures.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So I have a bunch of American Gladiator toys too, but none of those. And is that Titan?
Taipan. So basically, Dino, the Australian Gladiators figures were released by an Australian company called Krona that basically distributed a lot of Tyco products here in Australia. And these figures, these Krona Australian Gladiators figures, were repaints of the UK Gladiators figures. So this Taipan figure is a repaint of the wolf in the UK Gladiators. So they're a bit different to the American Gladiators figures.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit cheap and nasty, but they're just so cool. You know what I mean? They're so cool to have in the collection. So
these would be your ones.
Yes. Yeah. So I have a bunch of those.
So all the like your guys are super muscly. Like, look at that. Like,
yeah, right. Well, they should be, right?
Muscle. And they
those
took
guys were jacked, man. Even the women on that show were jacked.
Yeah. Looks like they consulted Dino for the body sculpts.
Dude, that one actually kind of. I think I could customize that one to look like me.
Yeah,
there you go, Cougar.
That's cool.
So they're extremely difficult to find in Australia, like especially on card. Like Scott and I have been picking up things together sometimes just because like they're so rare. I just want to say hi to Nick Smith.
Hey Nick, I'm sorry. I'll stop talking. Just welcome everyone in the
That's
chat.
all right. I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone.
I'm just so excited to talk toys and stuff.
Morning, that's my mother. So good morning, Mum. Thank you for tuning
Mom.
in.
Morning, Mrs. Taylor.
Watching. Matt says, brag away, Dino. Brag away.
Oh, Dino's on the blue milk.
I am on the blue milk.
Yes. We didn't get it. We did not get it.
It tastes like vanilla, like my wife said.
I did watch the video of you and your daughter and your wife trying to figure out the flavor.
My wife picked it up like that.
Nailed it in one.
We've got a toy show next weekend. So what's Carl saying?
Oh, that's cool.
They got a game on. I'm gonna get tickets. Wow. We've got a toy show next Sunday. And yeah. Carl might be a bit dusty.
Might be able to get an extra special deal out of Carl next Sunday.
Well, he's not focused. Yeah, those Gladiators, they're super cool line. Especially like Scott said. I don't know anyone else that collects the Australian Gladiators besides Scott.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yeah, like you got the UK Gladiators as well. I think that's it for the figure line. US, UK, and Australia.
Did you get play sets too?
Yeah, we got the dual play set, and we got is it
Atmosphere?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you got the dual? Is that Joust?
Yeah. For us, it was called Dual, but it's basically the two platforms with the jousting.
That's the one. That's what I got signed.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
that's we've awesome. Got it. We've actually like on the back of our cards, it shows Dual, but then it also shows Super Dual, which we can't seem to figure out what the difference is.
So it's kind of interesting because the back of the card doesn't show the figures that are available. So literally, Dean and I, we don't know which ones we're missing. We're just like hoping to find more. Like we've not been able to find a checklist or anything.
Oh,
so it's just
really?
Like, it's literally like old school before Google. Like imagine toy hunting before the age of the internet where you don't know what's out there and you're just out there trying to find them. But the back of the card does show 3 play sets. So it shows 2 versions of Dual, the regular Dual and the Super Dual, and then the Atmosphere. So as far as I am aware, these are the only 3 play sets they made. But who knows? There could be more. You know, that's
the Atmosphere is awesome. Look at that thing. It's like a mat. It's got to be like a regular mat. Oh, it looks like you can place the balls on top. So I wonder if the figures can fit inside that, huh?
Yeah, they had to have.
So I can see the small figures.
The figures are pretty small though. Like if you look at the Like I've got a Dick Tracy figure here. Like you can see the figures are pretty small. You know what I mean?
Probably
The
three,
Yeah.
3 inch.
So
But I wasn't sure. I thought the atmosphere balls might have been like super small, but no, it looks like one of those figures can fit inside of it.
I think so. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
I would love to have more play sets. I wouldn't know where to put it though, but the play sets are cool. I want to get like the climbing wall, and they made quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah. For American gladiators and for UK gladiators, they made a lot more play sets than they seem to make for Australian. So
I don't think they're that. I don't think they're expired. My milk, but I don't think I don't think they're too expensive, those play sets. So I get distracted by the blue milk date. I think it was the 25th or 26th.
Okay, well you're all right then.
So it's still good. I just bought it today.
So I was saying about the Australian gladiators, it's that rare in Australia that there isn't not even a website or a figure database that has a list of what the Australian releases were. Scott and I, we're just picking up things that pop up on like eBay and that, or we find at a convention, but there's no way for us to know what's a complete set. Is that all the play sets are? We have no idea.
Yeah, right. So it's like going back in maybe I don't know, maybe even earlier, like the mid '80s. Like was there a way for us to know besides magazines on what
the back of the card, like the back of the card was the Google of the day, you know, where you saw the cross sell with all the figures. Like it's interesting. And I've had this conversation with Dean, like, you know, I'm very curious about how you approach it, Dino, but like, I'm pretty kind of methodical about my collecting. I like to look at checklists. I like to see what's out there and go, okay, cool. This is what I have. I've got a list of what I need. I've got a list of what I have. But there is kind of something fun and extra, like retro, about collecting a line where you really don't know the extent of it. I'm just imagining, like, in 3 years' time, Dean and I both assume we've got a complete set, and then out of the blue, one of us just finds something. And it's like, oh, they did the female gladiator, the female Australian gladiators too, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, so there's something cool about collecting when you don't really know what's out there.
That's got to be kind of, I don't know. I know you say it's cool, but that would drive me crazy not knowing like if it's complete. You know,
it is a little bit.
My OCD would like drive me nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it like that with all the toy lines that I collect. Like, Gladiators is just like a little side kind of, you know, collection for me. So it doesn't bother me too much. It's more just like a novelty, you know what I mean? Like of hunting without knowing what's out there.
Yeah. And as Scotty said, to the best of our knowledge, we didn't get a female gladiator in a figure.
Is Vulcan the female?
Vulcan's not. And yes, there is a Vulcan figure. I think Scotty's got Vulcan, don't you?
No, you got the carded Vulcan. I've got a loose Vulcan somewhere, but he's in a tub somewhere.
That means I've got carded and I think a loose Vulcan. But no female gladiators at all.
You have any from the American line?
Only that one, and I don't know who he is.
Well, you don't have any of the females?
Turbo.
No, didn't you? You got one the other weekend, Dean?
I did.
Oh, you have a carded one too.
I was keeping it secret.
Well, look at them all. Well, you can keep it secret if you get a video.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to steal your thunder.
Yeah, look at that.
That's all right. So
Zap.
One of the pickups I found.
Yeah.
And never seen.
Look at that card.
Never seen it on card. Never seen any of them on card.
So what do you pay for something like that?
So Australian, that was $70. So what's that conversion for you guys?
I have no idea, but $70. Well, yeah, you're almost double the price of what we pay, right? Well, there's the wall.
So look at it like. Yeah. You guys have got so many play sets on this.
Yeah, look at that.
Like
they don't show the sphere though.
So we're talking $45 US.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
that's what I love about. I love watching toy hunting videos in America. The prices always seem so cheap. $10, but obviously conversion. But that was a pickup from Canberra when we went down into another state to a toy shop. So I saw that, scooped it up straight away.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dean. I didn't know you were keeping it under wraps for that video. I feel bad now.
No, that's all right.
He's good. I bet he's got more toys to show.
You
You
talk
got
about
more
it in
toys
more
in that
detail
video.
in the video, I'm sure.
100%. It'll be a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Dino, I just have to ask you, like, your backdrop, your collection is just so eclectic. There's so much going on, and
It's tough because now, like, if you see behind me, I have 4 movie theater seats. Right above me, I have a movie screen, 92-inch movie screen. So I like to watch. I don't typically like to go to the movies. I'm like, if I'm going to spend money to go into the movies, why not invest it in my house? So I bought a projector. I have pull down screen. So we used to run. I had 8 movie theater seats. I had platform.
oh wow,
So stadium seating here, and as years go by, the family doesn't watch many movies, so I got rid of half the seats. Now, anytime I want to watch a movie, I have to like move all these toys off my seats, and it's such an ordeal to watch a movie. But yeah, the collection's getting pretty insane.
so is that
Almost to
your
the point where I
basement?
don't have any more space.
Is it your basement?
Yeah, this is a part of the lower. So I live in a raised ranch or a split. So you
Yep.
go up the stairs or down, and then down was unfinished. So we had this area was before we moved in, it was half finished. So I just put in, I don't know if you could see above, but the ceiling is actually fabric, and it's of the night sky. So my whole idea was like laying down on the floor when the kids were younger, having the sleeping bags, almost like watching a drive-in movie and stuff
Wow.
like that. So being like at, you know, out. But although we used to run drive-in movies in the front yard when the kids were little, I put
That is so
a
cool.
cable in between 2 trees,
Yeah.
and I have a top that's what is it, 12 feet high, 24 feet long, and we had a projector that had a DVD player with speakers in it. So we would run like movies like Scooby-Doo, like the live action Scooby-Doo movies, to Star Wars, or any of the current movies that we would rent from Blockbuster Video. And it was fun. We would do it like Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday night. Then the following year it would be maybe one night a week, and then the following year after that it became like once a month. So
That's so cool.
yeah.
Just say
So
hi
you
to.
guys have drive-in movies?
We do. Yeah.
We've got
Only.
we've got one. We've got one that I really is the only one that I go to in Western Sydney. And it's very much like leans into the nostalgic experience of the drive-in. Like there's 2 screens, but they've got like
Yeah.
the old school diner style candy shop, and so it's a very cool experience, but it's very much like a novelty experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, the last time I went there, I went and watched a midnight screening of an Australian horror movie that was debuting there,
Oh,
and
cool.
it was a very cool experience. But I was there with my partner at the time, and we like fell asleep towards the end of the film, like just right at the end, because it was a midnight screening and it was like a 2.5 hour movie, and woke up at 4 a.m. in like an abandoned
Oh.
drive-in, and it was like it almost
Wow.
like capped off the experience.
That's
So they don't
crazy. I'm
wake-
surprised
they don't
nobody
wake you
was
up.
working and knocked on the window or anything like
I don't
that.
know. I suppose they just left us be, like, but yeah. So I love the drive-in. It's just such a a relic of that era. You know what I mean? It's a real novelty nowadays, more so than something I would do regularly to see a movie that was coming out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll just say hi to TJC.
Hey, TJC.
TJC, g'day.
So Nick has a nice comment. I do remember the glow in the dark stars that stuck on the ceiling. I remember. Actually, I think I put a few up there back in the day.
I had them.
Yeah.
I had Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
And with the
It's like
stars,
episode 1, right? Episode 1 did a lot of those glow in the dark
Yeah.
stars and stuff like that.
Episode 1. But also just like space shuttles and space stations, things like that, just to complement the stars. That was amazing. I think I've still got a packet of Jurassic Park glow in the dark stickers. They were super cool. So here's one for you, Dino.
I was reading that. Jeez, nothing. I'm actually redoing my closet because there was a period. So I've always collect toys pretty much my entire life. I have had periods where I've slowed down and focused on other collections, which was movies. So I have like 100 or more 3D movies, and so my collection of movies was pretty big, and horror and stuff like that. So what I'm doing now is because NECA is re-releasing some of the Friday the 13th displays in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Uh, uh, what is it? Like a set of, you know, A Nightmare on Elm Street where they have the Freddy TV with the arms coming out of the TV and Freddy's head on top of it from part 3. So they're releasing that set. It's an accessory set. So now it just spiked my interest for horror again. So I'm redoing my whole closet and setting it up for horror and some movies and things like that. So yeah, you have to sometimes sacrifice stuff in order to put new or things.
Yeah.
So I have the Muppets space set, you know, Muppets from Space.
Yeah. Yep.
So Piggy and the other crew members. So that set might have to go up in the attic just to make more space for other things. So I'm not sure what's going to have to go up in the attic for the Space 1999. It might just have to go like in the middle of the floor. There's a little space there. And that's kind of what's happening now is
It's just
now it's starting to, as you can see right here, is like the cracking and stuff like that. It's underneath my pinball machine. And same as Crash Test Dummies. So it's starting to spread out like this way. So it would probably end up on the floor.
I was going to touch on your Crash Test Dummies. I know in your videos, Scotty's videos really put you onto that toy line, and you've been
it was fun.
Quite a few.
Yeah,
how you been
I actually had to pack one up because it was the junkyard set I put in a box, and I think that's going to have to go up in the attic for now because it was on the floor, and it's becoming too much. But I love this set here.
The Crash Test Center.
Yeah, the Crash Test Center is fantastic. So that one I'm definitely displaying out, but the other one had to go up. So you have to sacrifice them sometimes. You know?
Oh, you definitely do. Yeah. And like the collection rooms are never finished. You know what I mean? There's never a final version, especially because collecting is a process. You know, it's not about like a destination where it's like I want to collect everything that I want. Now I'm done, and now it's all set. Like it's a process, which means you constantly have to take things down. And you know, if you've only got a limited amount of space, you've got to try to adjust it to make it work for what means most to you in the moment, what you want to see, and what you're enjoying in the moment. So, and just because you pack something away doesn't mean you don't love it. It'll come out again later. You know.
Do you ever purchase something and then almost right away it goes in a bin?
So. Look, for me, yes, because like my collection room's pretty small and it's chaos at the moment. But I've generally got a rule where if I don't have an immediate shelf space for something, like let's say I come home from a toy fair, things will stay out on the floor until I film them and stuff. You know, while I'm making video. But once the video is done, I've got a rule where unless it goes on a shelf, it goes in a tub because I don't like it when I've got a relatively small collection room, and I don't like it when I can't get in here because there's just stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So generally, unless I've got a spot for it already, if I have in mind I want to do some shuffles, until I actually get to doing that, I'll put things in tubs just so it's out of the way, and I can, because I still like to enjoy the space. You know, I still like to be able to come in here and, you know, watch a movie, play a video game, whatever it might be. I don't want it to get so cluttered in here with recent pickups that I've not found a home for that I can't enjoy the space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like I have a bag here that I just picked up some stuff today that I want, but I know it's definitely going in a bin.
Yeah.
But I couldn't pass up the offer. You know what I mean? Like I just picked up three Indiana Jones carded figures.
Nice.
$10 a piece. So
nice. My wife collects those Indiana Jones figures. So,
is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So she's probably about 3/4 of the way done.
Is it a big line, that indie line?
No, not really.
I don't know. It kind of has a good amount.
Oh, it's probably got about 30 figures. Yeah. But they're not super expensive and not super hard to find. But my wife's a big Indiana Jones fan, so she loves picking them up. So hopefully get another one next week. But yeah, for myself, I have a lot of video games as well. and I've started to slowly move video games on, especially the ones that are sports related or things that I'm never going to play again, just to make one, money for the collection, and two, more room. But Star Wars is the thing that I find is still boxed up, carded figures and the loose figures that just don't have enough shelf space.
Now, was that Power of the Force, or are you talking modern Star Wars?
So I'm talking Power of the Force up to modern. So I've been going pretty not hard, but I've been picking bits up for the vintage collection. So I'll make myself.
Oh, okay. So you do collect new.
So I picked up the Navara.
Yeah, that's a cool set.
Yeah. But now that I picked it up, I don't have any shelf space. So he actually comes with that one. I took him out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I like to hang them on the hooks like I've got there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I have right there. I don't know if you can see it. So I have the pegboard's fantastic, man.
Yeah. The pegboard's awesome. And it was Matt from Keep On Collecting, his room that I got to see firsthand the pegboard system, and then come home and create my own. But like, I pick up this, and now I don't really have a space to put it yet. So there's a lot of reshuffling to do before I can set it up. I want the Jabba the Hutt playset that's coming.
Yeah, I have that right here.
Are they getting open, Dean?
Yeah, that will get open. I think the new stuff I want to play with, I want to enjoy. I opened all mine. So as a 90s kid, Power of the Force, that came out. The big muscly ones were my first, even though my older brother had the vintage figures, the ones that you would have played with, Dino, as a kid.
Yeah.
Do you have the whole line of the vintage ones, or are you stuck with the last 17?
I was collecting when collecting wasn't cool.
Yeah. Same with my dad.
I have all the Ewoks too from the cartoon line.
Oh, very nice. They're super hard to find these days.
So
I love the way you displayed that. That's awesome.
I made those cases.
Yeah, I love the backdrop on them too. Very much card back, sort of like you've done them in the movies.
I used to have I got a poster of the Millennium Falcon in battle. It had TIE fighters and stuff like that. You might recognize the poster if you saw it. But so I got a few of them, and I cut it out in different parts of the poster, so each of the background of these cases looked a little different.
Yeah.
And that's what I initially did. But then somebody, one of my buddies, Cap Cave, Josh, he recommended doing that. And I think it looks fantastic. Like you said, it's like the old back cards, you know?
Yeah, but it signifies each of the movies in there. The blue and the green of Endor and Hoth. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I can change the lighting to match the colors too. So that's pretty fun.
Because right behind you, you've got something I'll probably never get, which is the sail barge. Man, I'd love to. I haven't even touched it. It's a very unique piece these days in that line.
I lucked out with that one. I paid up, and that's another question that I have to ask everybody. So I sacrifice great toys in order to get a new toy in my collection. I've sacrificed a vintage yak face. I've sacrificed blue Snaggletooth, Scareglow from Motu, the original Scareglow. Now I sacrificed and traded in those figures at a shop, meaning I'm not going to get full value for it. So say Scareglow is worth $350, I'm only going to get $125 for the figure towards trade. So, but I was fine with that. So have you ever sacrificed a toy in your collection that is valuable, but you made peace with it? You've had it in your collection for 20 years, and now you're ready to pass it on to somebody else in order to get the eagle or the kraken in your collection.
I haven't. I don't think I have. Like, I even have times where I pick a few things and I'm like, I'm going to sell them off or move them on. And by the time I look at them again, or I might be sitting there about to list it, I'm like, I can't do this.
It's hard, man.
It has memories, or I'm just having it in my hand again just brings back those memories. And I'm like, no, I'll put that back for a bit and we'll look again. I know my dad doesn't give up anything. he just keeps bringing it in. The whole house is full. But yeah, I just love that so much. I think that's, you got to be pretty strong to give away some grail pieces there for some people that
So
you've said.
yeah, the only Grail piece that I gave up for that was the Dark Tower. I think it was Milton Bradley put it out. It was a board game. It was a game, Dark Tower. It came with a tower. It came out in the 80s. It was a tower. It was kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type of game. And
Okay.
but it's probably worth like, I think $250 or $300 roughly. But that was one of my trade items, plus like 70 Black Series carded figures and a
Yeah.
few other bits. But they were asking $2,000 for it. I traded a bunch of stuff in, plus I gave an additional $700 on top of everything I traded, because when you're trading at a shop, they're not going to give you full, because they're looking to upsell it.
Yeah.
Which
Sure.
for me, as a collector and a buyer, I like giving shop owners an opportunity to own a good piece. So I don't mind. I don't need to sell something on eBay to get full value. I don't mind bringing it to a shop and giving them something that, like a yak face or a blue snaggletooth or a scareglow, so they can have something really cool in their shop. I want to keep the local shops in business so I can keep shopping there. And then they have cool items that come back into my collection, which is like the Marvel World playset. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's from 1976. This right here. It's made out of cardboard. For it to still exist complete, when I saw them post that on Facebook, I immediately thought to myself, if I don't act fast and tell them that I'm real serious about this, somebody else could walk in and buy it, and I'll never see it again, because I've never seen that in a shop or anything like that. So I text them right away, because I was, when you go to a shop, you get to become friends with these people.
Yeah.
So I text them. I says, hey, I want that. I'll trade in my yak face, because they know that it's a worth, and I'll just hold it for me. I'm going to trade that in, and we'll work out a deal. So
yeah,
sometimes you have to.
I think there's a lot to be said for that, Dino. Like, see, for me, going back to the question you asked, I'm in a little bit of a different spot, because I've been collecting for about 6, maybe 7 years at the most. You know what I'm saying? So I've not really had that. I've not had things in my collection for 20 years to the point where I'm ready for them to bring joy to someone else now. With that said, I am starting to, the cogs are starting to turn a bit, because when I first started collecting, I had no focus I was just picking up everything. So,
Yeah.
At the start, I picked up something that's very close to Dean's heart, and that's Street Sharks. I don't have a lot of nostalgia for Street Sharks. I just think they're cool toys. And
Same here.
Yep. And when I was picking them up in 2019, I was paying $8 a Street Shark, and now they go for a lot more than that. So I've started to think, you know what? Maybe it's time that I part with some of these sharks, so I can then, invest that to something that means more to me. But to Dean's point, I haven't been able to quite bring myself to do that. You know what I'm saying? But the other point that I really like that you made is, we have to support these vintage shops, because there's no guarantee of their success. There's no guarantee they're not going to go the way of the video store. You know what I'm saying? So, we've only got a couple where we are. In our part of Australia, we've got maybe 2 or 3 at the most in the greater Sydney area where we live. And then, within 3 hours drive in our nation's capital of Canberra, there's a big one that we went to 2 weekends ago now, I think, or maybe 3 weekends ago. So, you've got to make a point of supporting those, whether it's through trading items that allow them to make some money and have the kind of items that are going to draw people to those shops, or whether it's just making a point of shopping from them as opposed to shopping through eBay all the time. So I agree with a lot of what you say there.
See, a lot of the things I've had for. Oh, hey, Saturday morning fan. Good to see you. Oakhurst is here. Hey, Oakhurst. Yep, I'm wearing the Garbage Pail Kid shirt.
Yeah.
So
there we go, Dino the Machino.
That's awesome.
That was created by. So I used to do a live stream with my buddy Oakhurst Studios Vern, Dandy 1981, and Cap Cave Josh, and we used to do. I don't know if you watched the stream, the live stream we used to do, but it was called Points of Articulation, and we would share custom things that we would make to enhance our collection, whether it was photo photography, cardboard challenge. In one of the challenges we had, so we would do the stream every 2 weeks. So we had time to do our homework. We called it homework. So we had a challenge. We had to make a garbage pail kid of anything that didn't exist already. So I made Jump the Shark, which was it was a shark but dressed up as Arthur Fonzarelli. It had the board when he jumped the shark and stuff like that. I made a leather jacket for it out of clay. I couldn't find it. I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere here, but I was going to show it. But Cap Cave created this image, and he 3D printed this character and Garbage Pail Kids and made it a Dino the Machino. So absolutely love it. So I asked if I could make shirts out of it, and he said, yeah.
Very cool.
I did that with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My wife and I were just mucking around one night, and we were trying to create our own mutagen sort of animal creature. So we came up with the military manic meerkat. So it was like a meerkat with a big, like, sort of like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando sort of get up.
So did you draw it, or did you actually?
Yeah, we just drew it up. I thought it'd be
I wonder
a good
if you could get parts from figures and actually make that figure.
Yeah, well, I looked at that because the meerkat's like standing up. You know how they do that stand up, and they're always watching. So I couldn't really find a figure that sort of sat in that. But I guess you could just use Timon from The Lion King.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
definitely.
And just go with that. So this, especially if it's Blue Moon Toys, is that your local sort of toy shop, Dino?
Yeah, Full Moon Toys. It's Full Moon Toys and Collectibles. That's where I do a lot of my. Actually, was today, and that's the stuff I got today from that place.
Oh, okay. So you're out Saturday morning hunting.
Yeah, I was rushing around. I got this today. Look at that, man! How cool is that?
Oh, wow!
So this is by Necker. I didn't even know this thing existed, but this is Dark Horse Comics.
Yep.
So they actually made a figure.
And that's from the original movie.
Predator. Look at that.
Is it from a comic or it doesn't look like it doesn't look like the OG movie.
No, this is from Dark Horse Comics. Had a comic line of the Predator. They did Aliens too.
Oh, nice.
Dark Horse Comics. But yeah, the colors, I don't know if you could see it that well on here, but man, the colors, when I saw it, it looked so cool. And they give me decent deals there, so.
There really seems like, there's no bounds to your collecting. Like,
That's the thing that stinks. That's what's tough about it.
Like we discussed before we went live. One thing that I just love about your channel and have a heck of a lot of respect for you about is the fact that obviously you've got the period of your childhood where you've got a lot of nostalgia for in terms of 70s and 80s, but I'm not making comments about any person in particular, but generally speaking, I think there's a lot of people that, let's say, are Gen Xers that really think, 90s toys just don't have the same charm as 80s toys. And look, by the same token, I'll look at early 2000s stuff and just think that ain't for me. You know what I mean? I was a teenager at the time or whatever, or I was in my 20s at the time. I can't really connect with it. But you definitely can, 70s, 80s, 90s, and modern as well. So it must, I mean, it's fun because you get to enjoy all of that. But it must be tricky at times to manage, space first and foremost.
It's dangerous because I don't just collect one line. I just, my line keeps going, especially watching you guys and things like that. When I see, Mighty Max, I never collected Mighty Max back in the day. I saw it. So I do have that, like in the stores. So I do have that nostalgic feeling for it, but I never collected it. I never appreciated it until you start looking at it. It's like, those are cool. So I pick up a few here and there and in different lines. So because I have no boundaries on what I collect, it's a little too much. Like you can see, I have a Punky Brewster doll right there. Look at Punky
Yeah.
Brewster, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
It's like I get Kevin right there.
Yeah.
You got Burger King sitting right
Yeah,
here. It's
yeah.
just it almost becomes a little too much, but I can't help it. I love it all.
Did
But
you always play, Dino? Even though you collected and you've been collecting for decades, did you always play, or is it
Play
just
with my
about
toys. I
displaying?
I would always display my toys. So I was I've always Star Wars was huge when I was a kid. Younger was Mego, Sesame Street, which
Yeah.
was play school and things like that. So when you're like 5, 6, Weebles. So I have a bunch of those in my collection now. But as I was getting into like high school, middle school, I remember like collecting the Smurfs,
Yeah.
and I'd be like in the hallway during in between classes, and my buddy he would steal his Smurfs from his sister, and he would sell them to me in the hallway. So I'm like, hey man, you get them Smurfs? So he would like so for like $1 or whatnot, I'd get a Smurf. So I was collecting Smurfs, and so back in so when middle school hit, in high school, I would buy toys and display them like a piece of art. I'd take them out of the package and I
Oh,
would buy like the Ninja Turtles. So I still have the original 4 turtles. I have Rocksteady and Bebop. Those were the original ones that I had back in the 80s, or I 80s, 90s. I it all kind of like flows in, so I'm not sure. Like sometimes I say the wrong year for the toy line, but for me it all feels like the 80s.
Yeah.
So but I was collecting all those toys and putting them on shelves and things like that. So even in
oh,
high school, I remember going to Child World and buying I have the original Max Rebo band
oh yeah. Yep.
from, so that would have been 85
Yep.
possibly. So I was buying toys even then, and I graduated in 87. So 10th grade I was still buying toys and putting them on my shelf.
Yeah. Wow. So what's like the bulk? What would you say is the bulk of your collection?
Probably
These
Star
days?
Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I have like 2 shelves of turtles. I have some. See, the thing is I've been collecting, like I said, when collecting wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Like
And easier.
before the Power of the Force came out, Power of the Force 2, I was
Yeah.
going to flea markets, which are I think boot sales for the UK and you guys. But I was going to flea markets and buying all the vintage Star Wars figures. So a lot of the Return of the Jedi figures I bought on card. But
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
buying, like I bought Yak Face for like $85 at a toy
Wow.
show.
Yeah. Wow.
I think I paid 85 for or $65 for Luke Stormtrooper and
Yep.
things like that. So most of my line was completed. I think the last figure from that I bought on eBay was pop-up R2D2 lightsaber.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
that's the most I paid for a figure was 125
Yeah, he's a
for
tough
Star
one
Wars.
now. He's a tough one to get with the OG lightsaber and not a repro.
Yeah, yeah. And this was before repros were being really made.
Yeah,
Was when
absolutely.
I got that figure.
So, like in your neck of the hoods, because like America has a lot of flea markets and what we call op shops and that. But do you do a lot of garage sale hunting and that, or is it more just
No,
going
no,
to
no.
these?
I never got it really. I should, but I never really got into yard sale hunting too much, And I
Do
see a
they
lot of
do
people
do
getting
they
good
do the
stuff, but
town wide sales in your area?
what is it?
Do they do like town wide garage sales, like where the whole of the community is all
Yeah,
put into a yard sale? Because
yeah,
that's the way to do it. We don't really have that here in Australia, but I know a lot of parts of the US do like town wide sales where everybody, it's almost like you can just hit up a whole suburb,
Yeah,
yeah.
in a few hours and stack the odds in your favor rather than driving from here, there, and everywhere to go to a handful of sales.
Yeah, I've never really done that. I've had yard sales where I've sold a lot of my collection. Like when my kids were little, I was kind of selling off a lot of my Power of the Force 2 figures. And I got a lot of satisfaction because grandmas would buy like 10 figures for a cheap price and give it to so I was having fun selling a lot of my collection
Yeah.
because I had so much of it. But I was still collecting through my kids. My daughter was
Yeah.
getting into Monster High, so I was going to stores trying to find that figure. So I was still getting the hunt thrill out of it,
That's
but it was
awesome.
buying for her.
So did the family follow you down the toy hunting journey? Like,
My daughter
is it
collects a
contained to
little
that
bit.
room?
My daughter collects a little bit.
Yeah.
My son doesn't really collect. My wife definitely not. She is not a materialistic person. She gets anxiety when she comes in this room.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little much, but I love her for a lot, and for her to put up with this is
Yeah.
is it's amazing. So I'm lucky. I lucked out that it's not an easy thing
Yeah.
for
I say
people
the
to
same about
understand.
my wife. Why she supports it 100%. She comes out and just goes, "Wow,
Yeah,
wow," and yeah, it's you can have as much as you want as long as it stays in the confined space of
yeah,
that toy room.
that's what
Doesn't
my
take
wife
over the
says
house.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just Saturday morning fans like Snorks. I loved Snorks. I don't, if you haven't seen it, it was kind of like a knockoff Smurfs,
yeah,
but they were more,
underwater.
yeah, underwater
I have a
Smurfs.
couple. I have at least one snork.
Yeah, same. I've got a few of them. Again, in Australia, and I guess it's so many lines in Australia. You don't see so much. Like we watch the videos in America of like the car boot sales and the flea markets, and there's figures in just tubs getting rummaged around that like we just don't see.
We would dive on if we saw them here.
We would be coming home with like trailer loads of stuff if we went to America.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Vern does yard sales and like rummage sales at like churches and stuff like that.
Oh,
See that?
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
wish
don't
we
I
had
feel
one of
like I
those.
wouldn't get anything, but I guess people do. I just don't feel like, you know, sometimes I leave it up for like the local places that like sell. I leave it up to them to get the treasures and then I'll buy off of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we go, I might go to like 3 or 4 op shops, and if I come away with one piece, like from the turtles, vintage turtle line, that's like super big day. Like that was amazing. So, yeah, we have very limited, and a lot of people know what it is these days, or
Yeah.
especially the op shops and that they're using Google and that to find out what that toy is, and
Yeah.
then pricing it,
Yeah.
and putting it behind the counter. So it's like, why would I buy it from an op shop for the same price I can buy it
Exactly.
online? I
Yeah.
probably get a better condition.
So op shops for us are like thrift stores for you guys, and I don't know what it's like over
Yeah.
there in your part of the US, but for like if I go, let's say I hit up 3 or 4 op shops here, I almost have to have a mindset of just expect to find nothing, so that I might be, I might be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not going to be too disappointed, because the reality is it's like 1 in 10 shops you visit, you might come out with one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we have a local place also. I have that has like a bunch of different booths in there, and there's a couple of dealers that deal in like vintage toys and stuff like that. So, and I become friends with them too, and usually sometimes when they find something good, they'll post it on Instagram or Facebook, and I see it, and I call them up or leave a text message because I have their phone number, because that's what you do when you're
Yeah.
you make connections and make friends because you have that thing in common. Because typically they're into toys also. If they're buying and selling, they're kind of into it also. So
Sure.
you get a good connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got all the Motu? Are you the vintage and origins Motu, Dino?
I collect. I was collecting the Origins. I do have vintage Motu, which is right there. So I have Castle Grayskull. I have Snake Mountain. I have the Fright
Just gonna,
Zone.
I'm gonna make
Fright
you big
Zone with
again.
the puppet. I do have the puppet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that one I just picked up like last year. The puppet's like minty. I was gonna take it down too,
Wow.
but it's such a chore to get stuff down.
Yeah. I
But I
love that
love it.
playset. Like,
I
especially with
have
the
the
puppet impact, it's beautiful.
yeah. It's a cool looking set, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. I have the slime pit, and I have a few of the vintage figures, and some of them that I had as a kid, but I sold probably at yard sales, but got them back. Like what is it? The snake guy with the long arms? Is that Stretch or something like that?
Yeah,
Squeeze.
yeah. Squeeze.
Yeah,
Squeeze.
Squeeze and what's the one with the suction cup on his face?
Oh, Leech.
Leech.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those I had as a kid. Scareglow I had as a kid, but again,
Wow.
I sold the Scareglow or traded the Scareglow for the Kraken, towards the Kraken, I should say, because it wasn't just an even swap. They were asking $1,000 for that thing.
Yeah,
So
I believe
I had to have some good trade bait in order to make that work.
Oh
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, Dino. Like, I've not reached that stage yet personally myself, and there's not a. I don't think there's too many stores here in Australia that give you the opportunity to trade necessarily, because there's vintage toy stores here are few and far between. But just like the psychology of dropping $1,000 on a toy is a little bit hard of a hurdle to get over. But if you can just soften that blow with some trades,
Yeah.
it just makes you feel better about it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know that, like, if I forked out that much for something, I would probably find myself looking at that piece in my collection room and like thinking, "Oh God," like, you know what I mean? That like, that's a big
So
chunk of change.
I traded a arcade, which is, let's see if you can see
Hey, Mike.
this. See the Ninja
Mike.
Turtle arcade right here.
Yeah.
So I had a Marvel versus Capcom arcade. You know, it's a tabletop one, but it's a big one. So I traded that. I traded a Scareglow, a blue Snaggletooth, 100 Funko Pops,
Wow.
100
and 100 Funko Pops.
Wow.
Or like 97, close to 100 Funko Pops.
Wow.
And I might have had to do a little bit of green also in order to get the Kraken, but the Kraken's complete. He's not broken or anything. And that was an item that I've never seen at a show.
Yeah.
Way out of my price range to purchase. So I had to come up with a solution in order to get that. And that was a grail piece that I never thought I'd have in my collection. And I was ready to part. So the blue Snaggletooth I've had in my collection for at least 20 years, because that was like one of my figures that I bought in the early 90s. Scareglow I had as a kid. So when did Scareglow come out? That was like the last 80s.
Yeah.
Late 80s.
Late
So
80s.
what did I pay for that? Like $2.50 to $5?
Shelf price.
You know, brand new. So
was
then Origins came out with the Scareglow, and I think it's even better. So I have the Origins version of that. So for me, that filled in that spot.
Yeah.
And the glow in Origins is fantastic. So I was fine to do that. Sometimes you got to do.
Sometimes you got to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
So how are you a kind of Excel spreadsheet guy when it comes to knowing what you've got when you're out hunting? Do you just remember and accidentally buy things you have already?
No, I've never really. I don't think I've ever purchased like doubles of. I know pretty much everything I have.
Wow, I'm a list kind of guy. I have it all on my phone. What I'm hunting for, what I need. Well, especially like it all started with the turtles and their accessories. So if I came across a tub of accessories, I needed to really know what I was talking about.
That's a little different. That's different when it comes to accessories. Then for me, I know like you guys talk about it, that you have to have complete figures. For me, when I display my figures, if they're complete, typically I put those accessories in a bag, because I don't mind having one weapon with them. But as far as like a bunch of accessories, I just don't have the space on that. Just takes up more space on that shelf. And then if something falls over and it lands on the floor, you never find it again. Somehow it warps into that next dimension.
Well, yeah, it's like back in the day, you know, as soon as you opened up a figure off a blister card, chances are some of those accessories were going missing.
Yeah.
You don't need that happening nowadays as a collector, because it would just do your head in.
Oh yeah, like I have I have 3 original Toxic Crusaders.
Yeah,
I have Toxie, the Wolf guy, and the Big Blob guy. I don't remember all their names. Junkyard, I think it was, right, for the Wolf guy.
Yeah.
But those were mine as a teen, and I have all the accessories with it, but I don't display it with them because they just take up so much space.
Yeah, well, and the thing, Dino, with a lot of toys that were released by Playmates like Turtles and Toxic Crusaders and Skeleton Warriors is, and we've discussed this on our Mutagens live streams, is the figures were packaged with more accessories than they can either hold or they
Oh
can
yeah.
or they can stow away on their belt or something like that. So like I'll tend to have I do prefer to display my figures complete, but they'll have like a weapon in each hand, they'll have the backpack, they'll have weapons stowed away, and sometimes I'll just have like a weapon sitting like on the base of the shelf, but at their feet. And I don't really like that, but if I do that, I make sure it's like in a glass cabinet where it's all secured
Yeah.
away. So
See, I see how you have it displayed. I don't have that privilege to do that.
yeah.
So I have domino effect all the time because I'm such a klutz. So whenever I'm trying to reorganize or move something, I always dump figures over.
Yeah.
So, Dino, I know in the last in a few of your episodes lately, you've been meeting a lot of actors in that, and you always get them to do a little Geek Strong chuck
that
out
was
for
fun.
it. So, do you collect autographs as well? Is that
no,
part
I
of your
don't.
collection?
I prefer not. I actually didn't get any of their autographs because I'm too cheap.
Save it for toys.
Yeah, but I do have autographs of David Prowse, Jeremy Bullock,
Yeah.
Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, and Warwick Davis. So I went to a convention back in the early 90s, probably like 93, when they were actually, maybe 94, when they were starting to announce the Power of the Force 2 line. So they actually had a room where they were showing the upcoming figures for the Power of the Force 2. We were all excited. I remember the great times. But that's when I got like those type of autographs. But the only reason why I got their autographs, wasn't even planning on it. And the only reason why is because I brought like $200 with me at the show, and there were no toys that I wanted to purchase. So I'm like, I have money, so I might as well just get these autographs.
So what were your first impressions of those Power of the Force figures when you saw them?
Oh man, they were great.
You
That
loved
was
them?
like the Star Wars that we it was new Star Wars, so that was exciting. And for me, I've always been into lifting weights and bodybuilding. So for them to have the extra muscle on it, I was fine with that because I had a collection of vintage figures, and I was kind of one of those people when they released that 4-figure box set of the new figures of the original sized. You know which ones I'm talking about? They had like the original Vader, the original Luke in that box set. I have it over here. I could show you, but when they were re-releasing the original figures, it was like, well, you're bringing down the value of the vintage figures.
Yeah.
So when they turned them into muscle size, then it was like, okay, now we're getting new Star Wars, and it's not going to hurt the value of the original figures.
Yeah, I don't recall that box set, but like the Power of the Force 2 was my childhood one, so I didn't even notice the muscliness of them. It was just my own Star Wars to collect. So I thought,
and we buy two, one to keep in package so we become rich, and then one to open so we can play with. Right,
and they're still $5-10 today.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you do the retro line now? And I mean like the new retros?
I do vintage collection. I do the retro collection.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay with original trilogy. I don't mind doing and the prequels, but as far as like the TV shows and things like that, I'm backing off. I'm not buying any of those. The Bad Batch and stuff like that. I just don't have the nostalgia for it or the space.
And there's like 10 Mandalorians now. How many Mandalorians? Like of Mando.
They don't really bring any nostalgia. It's a fun series, don't get me wrong, but as far as collecting, no.
So are you into the HasLabs? Did you back the Ghost or
no? See so again, that's
from TV
I don't have the space for it, and B, I've never watched what was the show again?
Ahsoka, the Rebels.
The Clone Wars. The Clone Wars and Rebels. Yeah, no, I never really get into. I watched some of the Bad Batch, the last seasons and stuff like that, but as far as the Clone Wars, I watched the movie. I have a hard time, just like Oakhurst. We have a hard time with the animation. I just can't get into it, even though I know it's fantastic. I just can't get into it to stay with it.
Yeah. So if the rumor is true with the next HasLab being
Yeah.
my size the Cantina, that's OT. So
Yeah.
you must be all
Right
over
there.
that.
I'm all set for it, man.
Oh, lovely.
Look at that, right?
Yeah, I love that.
So I am all set. I actually finished the whole set. I got the new vintage collection band.
Yeah.
I got another one of these, the brothers from the Cantina, the alien heads.
So I
I
guess it's
finished.
just
I think I have every single figure that was released for the Cantina.
Yeah, man, it looks
Including
nice.
this guy from episode 2.
Yeah, I met him last year because he's an Aussie.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he was at a local con, and literally, he's only known for that tiny little scene. He wants some death
sticks. Wants to sell you some death sticks.
Yeah,
and then Jar Jar Binks right there.
Yeah, no, I love that they did that.
Yeah, that's cool, huh? They have the original actor that played Jar Jar.
Yeah, and yeah, they've done that with a few of them now. Mostly everyone's got a side cameo.
Just in case anyone hasn't seen this yet. So that's a reproduction of the canteen, the what is it, the cardboard set.
Yeah.
So that's not an event. That's not an original. But I'm fine with that. But I don't know, man. I kind of like this setup. I really like it.
It looks open and spacious.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what the new one is. But again, if I buy it, do I have room for it?
Yeah. But if it comes with like 8 figures that we don't have, and that's what you collect, then I have to, because I need
they want the sisters, everyone, by the sounds of it, the Tonica sisters.
I hope they don't I want them to make those, but I don't want them to put that in a HasLab.
Yeah, lock them away forever. Well, we're over the hour, so yeah, we'll start to wrap up, and
let me show you that 4-pack before we go.
Yeah,
just
sure.
I don't want anyone thinking.
Look at all that goodness.
I know this collection room is insane.
I know, and there was a comment from Matt who was saying, "Is there room to sleep?" I don't know if he was talking about mine. If there is, yes, Matt, there is. But if it's Dino's, I don't think so. Okay, yeah, I've never seen that one.
That's a cool set, though.
So but when they released this, we were all in an uproar, man, because this came out in 95, I think, 1996. No, not it is 95. My even wearing glasses, I had a hard time seeing, but we were like kind of a little upset if they were going to re-release all the originals, that we were paying a little bit more than what these would work. So they made these, and that was it. And then they went to the Power of the Force, more muscular style.
So is that a rare thing? That, because I've never seen that in person.
No, it's not rare. It's not. I mean, but if you open these up, those are the vintage figures, pretty much. I don't know if the stamp says 95 on it.
No, they have to.
I'm not really sure, but. And then they make retro.
What's on the left-hand side next to the figures? Is that like that card
back? Those are top trading cards.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, look at those. So I collected all the Topps cards back in the day. I had stacks of them, binders of them. Anything Star Wars, I bought. I have all the Micro Machines, man, buying all those. I remember with my wife, but my girlfriend at the time, obviously now my wife, but I had an apartment, and I had all the Micro Machine play sets like scattered through the house as like art. Like I'd have like a pedestal or an end table with, Micro Machine play sets all set up. And she still went out with me.
Your mate's having a dig. That's what was great about your collector's life with Stu, is just all the toys you were showing and grabbing. Look at that.
Look how cool that is.
What's the story with that piece, Dino?
I think this was made in like Argentina or something. So bootleg. I just picked this up at a show. I mean,
it's got a bootleg vibe about it, but I love it.
Yeah. So this is George, right, from Gremlins 2, the guy with the
Yeah.
cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they made a bunch of these because after I bought this, I follow a Facebook group. The people at one of the local shows, they have a Facebook group. They actually found different versions of the Gremlins in the exact same style. So these are going around somewhere around here that people in the headlights up. I don't know if you can see it, but look at that.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
wow.
Why does the headlight up?
It makes no sense, but I love it.
It makes
Just to
none.
scare small children.
But this is something you would get at a fair or something, right?
Yeah, is it like hollow, like blow molded plastic?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, his legs aren't like he can't stand upright because one leg's longer than the other.
You got to
I hate
lean
when
in.
they
See
do
it
that.
here, but he doesn't stand up too well.
They always make action poses and things that just are useless.
But when I saw this at full moon, I was like, I gotta get that. That is the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's sick. So one more question for you, Dino. I know that you spoke about the Kraken. Do you have the other figures in the Clash of the Titans line?
Yeah. Yeah, I have all of them.
It's not a very big toy line, but gosh, there's some beautiful figures in that line. I love it.
Yeah. I'm missing the tail for Calibus.
Okay.
I had the sword for Perseus, and
Yeah.
it's somewhere in this room that I lost like 10 years ago.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I bought that in Vegas, that toy. We went to
Yeah.
Las Vegas and they had actually if you ever watch Pawn Stars?
Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you talking about the toy barn or the
The
toy
Toy
shack?
Shack, Johnny's
Toy Shack,
Toy
yeah.
Shack. So I met
Yeah.
Johnny, but I also met there was a Rogue Toys, and he is one of the other. I think his name is Steve. He's actually one of the other toy experts that came on the show, and he had not been on any of the episodes. He just started the store, and I told him, I said, you're gonna be on the show. They're gonna have you as a toy expert, and sure enough, they did. But that's where I bought that Perseus figure.
Oh, very cool.
But I
And you
had
got
them all as a kid.
And you got the Pegasus?
I don't know. That's right. I don't have it. If Oakhurst Studio is still here, he has it, and I think he said he might gift it to me one day.
Ooh, that'd be nice. I mean, it's a little bit before my time, but one thing I love about look, I love the Clash of the Titans film, and a lot of those like classic like stop motion effect movies is something that Matt from Keep On Collecting got me into. But that's one thing I love about my friendship with Matt and Andrew, and following channels like yours, are just being enlightened to some of the stuff that came before my childhood. And Clash of the Titans is a great example, just like the Remco Universal Monsters and a lot of the other stuff that you've shared.
So I had all those as a kid. That's what I was buying. Like when Star Wars came out, I had all the Star Wars figures. Then they made the Remco 3 3/4 back in 1980, and that was right up my aisle, or whatever, however you want to say it. Yeah. I had I have them all now because I had to rebuy them, but I had the play set. I have all the figures, but I love the Universal Remco figures.
Absolutely. The Monsterizer and all that.
Did you know you can still get the they actually make a what's the owl from Clash of the Titans?
Oh, Bubo?
Yeah, they have you can get a Boo Boo retro style figure.
Yeah.
I bought that. I have it over there. I can show you if you want.
I think Matt might have got one as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That is a cool piece to add to it. But yeah, I don't have Pegasus. I don't really care about Pegasus too much. If Oakhurst is still listening, I take that back. But
he's saying maybe, Dino. He's saying maybe.
Yeah.
We're being asked if you could show Boo Boo.
Yeah. I'll show you that.
Boo Boo. Oh, wow.
Sorry, Dean. I know you were starting to wind things up, but I've
it's not at all.
Easy to...
Like we said before, we even got on. We have so much more than an hour's worth of talking to do.
Oh, for sure. And look, this is the first one, Dean, but certainly not the last.
No, definitely. Look at that thing.
So what's cool about it, you can clip him on to an arm. Unfortunately, it's made out of I think it's like 3D printed or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah, probably
or
resin printed.
yeah. So it's kind of fragile. It actually one of
Yeah.
them broke one time. I just had to glue it.
Yeah.
But look at that, man! It goes right with the figures, and he makes a replacement tail and
Nice.
other accessories for this line, which is really cool. I can't remember where I got it though. It was someplace I saw on, I think on Instagram, but he has an eBay store.
I love the is it Charon, the ferryman of the underworld figure? Like,
Who
you know the one
the skeleton?
yeah, like the hooded, like Grim Reaper looking figure.
Yeah, I have him too.
That might be my favorite figure in the line. I love that thing.
There you go. I love that he knows where every little thing is too, and there's so much there.
Except for Perseus's sword.
Yeah, yeah. So there's Perseus.
Yeah.
And then this guy is super cool. He could definitely go with like a Remco Monsters, huh?
Without
Yeah,
a doubt. Like
yeah.
that's got to be one of the coolest looking, figures in that body type. Like it's just such a wicked looking figure.
It reminded me of the Emperor straight away then.
Did Kenner make these or are these Mattel?
These?
Yeah. Because they've got they got very much like a Kenner body style.
I think they're I don't know if it's I thought it was Mattel.
It might be Mattel. Matt'll confirm.
Metal.
Yeah. But they're such cool. They're just classic figures. Yeah, Charon. Yeah.
Yeah, do you see this figure that I custom made? Willow.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I used an Ugnaught body
Yeah.
and a Battlestar Galactica head.
Oh wow.
Very cool.
And then the
That's
baby from I think that's Luke.
Yeah,
That's
that's
maybe?
yeah. Yeah, I remember that one.
But he's got blonde hair to match the girl from Willow, the baby.
So
Nice.
what's your most prized piece in there, or like what's your
Yeah.
coolest thing you've got and all that?
Earthquake Tower is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love the Marvel World playset. So that was a grail item. That's something that I never thought I would ever see, never mind have back in my collection. It was one of my brother's items that he had, and he's always talked about it and always wanted it. And when I saw it, when they showed it on Facebook, my local shop, I text my brother because he wanted it. And I told him, I says, hey, you want it? We'll put it. He said he didn't have the money. So I did everything I could to get it in the family.
Yeah.
Even though it was something he had, but it was something that we all played with. And that's probably like my prize piece is right over there, the Marvel World playset.
Yeah,
right
because
there.
that's all.
I have a video on my channel if you're ever interested, and then Ghostbusters and
Oh, sorry. Might have to
Dino,
find that.
you pump out the videos, mate. I mean, you've been going for a couple of years now, but man, you got over 1,000 videos on. I don't know how you do it, mate.
it's shorts, a lot of shorts.
Yeah.
A lot of
guys,
shorts, and then like what I do is like today I put out 2 videos, but they're the same video. So because I do a green screen when I do a video, like my background's all green, and so I like to do that because it's a color that pops, but it's also I can use like when I do stop motion or like video like clips and put it all together to make it like stop motion, but not really. And then I can add the background. But this time I did a video, so I took the entire video and used the green screen effect and added a different image using the green screen. If that makes sense, it probably doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at making sense.
Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up now. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Gone by in a breeze.
It has gone pretty fast.
By the way.
It was
Mattel, yeah. I have so many more questions, but we'll save it for another one. I'll let everyone get back to their Saturday nights or their Sunday mornings. Just want to thank everyone in the chat for jumping in on what is the first of hopefully many live streams for the channel. Thanks, Scotty, as well, just especially for
No
helping out and just easing some of my nerves before jumping into this.
Oh,
And
no worries at
Dino,
all, mate. You got it.
100%.
You're a pro. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thanks, legend. And Dino, just for your time, mate, and your collection is just absolutely insane. I love it.
I want to apologize for like I get so excited talking toys. So
No, man, we love
Mate, you
it.
got
That's why
nothing
we're
to
here.
apologize for. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. And listen,
Yeah.
we all share that passion, mate. So it's a safe space to get as carried away as you want. It's all good.
It is. And
So
we
do you
can
guys have any of the
do Geek
Ninja
Strong too,
Turtle vehicles and playsets that you collect, or is that something you don't collect?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we've
We
got
got
them. Yeah.
I mean, I think I got the Technodrome.
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
if you
You
can
do
maybe
have it.
just see it in the corner there. I
Yeah.
got the pizza thrower vehicle. So I don't have the sewer playset yet. That's one that I'm still on the hunt for. But yeah,
Oh, you
Dino's
got
got
it
the
too. The
got the
Technodrome.
Technodrome and the sewer playset. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
those
my
were
wife.
two Grail items also for my collection, and I managed to get those. I got the the Foot Clan, the drill
Yeah, the
vehicle.
mutant module. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a yeah. So I have
It's
that.
a
It's not
beauty.
complete. That's a cool piece.
It's got a ton of little small parts as well. It's a tricky one to complete, but it's a cracker of a vehicle.
I saw it complete at a toy show. One of my latest ones. They had it there, and man, that thing looks beautiful when it's
Oh
complete.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that, Dean.
That's
Sorry
all
about
right. All right, guys. I'll let you go. Appreciate it. Well, we'll chat next time.
Yeah, cheers
See
to
ya.
everybody in the chat.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
you guys hanging out, and thanks for having us, Dean.
Cheers,
Yep.
mate.
that.
Love
Hey,
it.
wait a second. One more thing.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Remember, we are all Geek Strong. Take care, everyone.
Love it.
See ya.
Laters.